Two massive storms in a row is pretty bad, but is it divine judgment upon the United States of America for its political sins? That's the claim of actress Jennifer Lawrence, who suggested the big storms are America's penance imposed by Mother Nature for not believing in global warming. Watch this.
It's been proven through science that human activity, that climate change is due to human activity, and we continue to ignore it. And the only voice that we really have is through voting.
And you have voted.
And we voted, and it was really startling. You know, you're watching these hurricanes now, and it's hard, especially while promoting this movie, not to feel Mother Nature's rage, wrath.
Joe Concho writes about media for The Hill, and he joins us tonight. Joe, why is it that as people get richer and more famous, sometimes they get sillier and more out of touch? Have you noticed this?
When you say richer, remember, Jennifer Lawrence made $46 million last year. She's worth $110 million. And I don't want to seem insensitive towards the hurricane, so I got friends in Key West. Let me tell you a horrible story first. I had friends that lived on Long Beach Island, New Jersey, and their house got wiped out by Sandy. So they said, screw it, we're going to move to Key West. And now they just bought a house there, and yeah, so I hope everything works out okay for them. Back to Jennifer Lawrence.
For sure.
I'm not a doctor, but since everybody's playing one on TV these days lately, they're playing psychiatrists.
I've noticed.
Yeah. Let me give you my prognosis on Jennifer Lawrence. She's obviously suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, or in this case, it's an acute strain, ADTS, and this is a situation where apparently side effects include blaming a sitting president for hurricanes hitting the U.S. mainland during hurricane season. And, you know, it's funny. I was asked by NPR, I remember this after the election during an interview, and they said, how do you think Donald Trump won without any celebrity backing whatsoever? And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, you know, outside of like Scott Baio and Jimmy Woods, no one supported him. And meanwhile, Hillary Clinton was the toast of Tinseltown. And I would believe that if you look at this situation, Jennifer Lawrence would be Exhibit A, or in this case, Exhibit ADTS.
You got to kind of wonder, though, about the press coverage here. I mean, here you have one of the most famous actresses in the world on the eve of what looks like a catastrophe, using the storm and the impending human suffering to make a really stupid political statement. You'd think, like, the press would jump on her. Did they?
No, you don't see really any coverage outside of any conservative blogs on this because, again, you get passes in these situations. And I think we got to have empathy for Jennifer Lawrence. You know, empathy, obviously, is when you could relate to somebody and feel sorry for them. And look, we could all relate to you, me, Tucker, 3 million people at home, flying a private jet over to London and getting over the angst of hurricanes that are no threat to you and blaming a sitting president perhaps for bad karma for creating hurricanes and being able to talk about your job and promoting movies while getting paid 7 figures. I think that's something that we could all relate to.
Being a celebrity is bad for your soul. I've noticed that. Jennifer Lawrence is not the only celebrity taking politics in a weird direction, though. Last night, The Late Show, the host of that, Stephen Colbert, targeted President Trump using the most tired of insults, a Nazi salute. Watch this.
Bannon is such a staunch Trump supporter. He even defended Trump after Trump failed to call out violent white supremacists in Charlottesville.
By the way, after the Charlottesville situation, that's what I told John Kelly. I was the only guy that came out and tried to defend him. I was the only guy that said he's talking about something, taking it up to a higher level.
Yeah, he's definitely taking it to a higher level. I'd say his support is about up there, right around here.
So I thought we'd agreed that that was out of bounds, and I mean, Jeffrey Lourdes got canned from CNN for making reference to that regime, but it's okay here? How?
I'm not sure, but I guess Stephen Colbert, you know, he advocates applying Nazi salutes to people who used to serve in the military. Not too many young people watching late-night television probably know this, but Steve Bannon was actually a naval officer for 7 years. He was sent on that mission to free American hostages from Tehran. He got diverted. His ship did in the last second, but so that's somebody who's decorated there. That's disrespectful. And I also wonder what the Jewish community probably thinks of seeing Nazi salutes being done over and over again on their flat screens. I also like to know what Les Moonves, who is a CBS president, who at last check is Jewish, thinks of his highest paid star doing that. And this is late night comedy in 2017. It's unhinged hate, Tucker, and there is no line anymore to go over because there ain't no line. It's all anything goes. And look, last week, or at the beginning of this week, Stephen Colbert mocked President Trump's reaction to Hurricane Harvey. And here's the bottom line. While Trump was in Texas twice, Stephen Colbert was on vacation for 2 weeks, and he had the time and the resources to go there and do something himself, but instead he mocks people from afar, and I think that's all you need to know about the person Stephen Colbert. That's the true punchline here.
Better stay away from the Nazi stuff. Any of it, in my view.
At any time.
Joe, thank you.
It's a hard and fast rule, and for whatever reason, you didn't see any press reaction, only praise for Stephen Colbert for doing this last night. It's sickening.
You got to praise him. Those are the rules. Thanks, Joe.